And a good afternoon. Welcome back to your afternoon 5 State Farm Report. Danielle Drotzman, your host here for 570 WNAX. Thanks for tuning in here today and joining us on this Tuesday. Glad to have you all with us. Well, as we continue throughout your program here today, we have a special guest that we're excited to welcome on, welcoming Fred Hall. He is Northwest Iowa Dairy Extension Specialist joining us here today. So, Fred, it's a pleasure to get you on WNAX, and thanks for joining us. So how are you today?
I'm very well, Danielle. It's always a pleasure to visit with you and talk about my favorite subjects, the dairy industry.
Absolutely. Well, I know you have had a busy summer, doing all things extension. It's sure it keeps you very busy. So maybe just kind of fill us in on some of the events that have taken place for Iowa Dairy Extension so far and kind of what's been keeping you busy this summer.
Well, probably the biggest event was our 4-state Dairy Nutrition and Management Conference. We had over 500 nutritionists and consultants meet to discuss current research and protocols in dairy nutrition. It's a 4-state event, so we had Iowa, Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Illinois. But we also had consultants come from 7 states outside of our region. And, it's the largest dairy nutrition conference in the country. So we had a lot going on to prepare for it. Kind of glad that it was over. Then, summer's a big time for my youth programs. I work with several shows, the Iowa Minnesota show, the Cream of the Crop show, as well as I still do quite a bit of dairy judging. And of course, June is Dairy Month, so we had several field days and open houses, in the area, as well as our state one down at the Iowa State Dairy Herd there in Ames. And we are the number 4 dairy goat state, so we do a lot of dairy goat programming, as well as I worked with the Quad State Dairy Goat Show up in Spencer at the Clay County Fair just 10 days ago.
There you go. That sounds like a busy summer. I don't know if I could keep that all straight. So, but it's not over yet. Summer is still upon us. I mean, we still have a good chunk of it left. So, with that being said, I guess, do you have any events, coming up here soon, here in like the first week of August, I think?
Absolutely. In addition to the dairy processing program there on August 4th, there in Alton, we have the I-29 New University Forage Field Day at the West Central Research Center in Morris on August 18th. And on the 19th, we come back here to Northwest Iowa and have a dairy pasture walk at Wilson's Dairy there in Paulina. We also will talk about heifer growing. So we get the chance to see the forage in the pasture as well as talk about how we utilize it.
Gotcha. And with, the on-farm dairy processing day, which you said will be on August 4th, I guess what's kind of that program going to entail? Because, on-farm dairy processing is a growing field.
Absolutely. We're seeing more and more folks finding that niche that they can be profitable at. And so we have these series of field days. The one here in Northwest Iowa is at the Culver's. It's actually a dairy goat farm that also processes on farm and makes gelato. These successful niche market herds are an opportunity for regional dairy producers to actually get on the farm, walk through the animal facilities, as well as walk through the processing. We've got cheese processors and folks doing fluid milk and flavored milk. Here at Alton, the Culvers are doing gelato. The folks who come to this will be able to ask questions of the producer, but we also have Dr. Dylan Liu. He's the assistant professor of food science at Iowa State and really involved with dairy processing and dairy products, who will be speaking. We've got Larry Tranel, who will be talking about the economics. He does a lot of enterprise budgets, and he's really picked apart some of these niche market producers and has some really good information and is able to answer questions. If somebody's interested, doesn't quite understand how something works, he'll be able to walk them through it. Plus, if you're going to do this niche market, you have to have the Iowa Department of Agriculture and Land Stewardship involved. So we'll have one of their representatives at each one of these events who can walk through and talk about what they're looking for with the new facility.
Gotcha. Sounds like a great day full of a lot of great educational opportunities. And, I guess, do we need to register for that day? Or I guess where could we kind of learn more if we wanted to find out more about that field day?
Yeah, the easiest way is to Google Iowa State Extension Dairy Team, and we'll pop up. And there'll be the link right there at the top of the page. Just click on it, and you'll be able to go and register online. It's if you show up that day, won't be a problem. We won't turn anybody away, but we'd like to have a handle on who all's going to be there and prepare enough materials for them.
Absolutely. And you also, I guess, had a survey that was recently released as well. So maybe tell us more about that and where we can maybe go to fill that out.
Absolutely. Well, actually, the survey's completed. We did that through 2024 and early 25, and then it takes quite a while to process that data. We do this every 5 years. And that way we've got a handle on what's changing in the Iowa dairy industry. We actually do 2 surveys. We do one that's producer-based, and that's what this one has just been released is. Then we also do an industry, which talks to processors, milk haulers, feed producers, manure handling facilities, and really gets a complete investment in the industry. And that will be released probably 1st of September. I can give you a sneak preview. Right now, every dairy cow in the state of Iowa contributes about $36,000 to the local economy. And that's significant when you look at that. But I'd encourage folks, if they're interested in the producer side, we talk about, what's the average, where are the cows located, what do the facilities look like. If they go to the Iowa State Extension Dairy Team website, they'll be able to just click on that and get a white paper on it, as well as click and get a printable PDF of the survey results.
Absolutely. A lot of great information there for producers on your website. So, Fred, that's kind of all I have for you, and we're kind of running to the end of our time here. So I guess anything to wrap up on or just leave our listeners with before I let you go?
Well, we talked when we first started about the the heat and the temperatures. And that's so important that we keep cows comfortable, sprinkling them, using misters, having our fans working properly. We are good stewards of our animals, and do a walk through your barn. Make sure those fans are adjusted. Make sure the sprinklers are operating. Make sure the bedding is where it's supposed to be. Those are all things that will make us money, because happy, comfortable cows produce better.
Absolutely. Very well said. All right, Fred, thank you for joining us here today on WNAX. It's always a pleasure to get you on, so you have a great rest of your day. And again, thank you.
Thank you, Danelle. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. All right, that's Fred Hall. He is Northwest Iowa Dairy Extension Specialist, joining us here today on your afternoon 5-State Farm Report. With that, we'll take a quick break, and then we'll check in with Al Kleis here in about 5 minutes, so make sure to stay tuned.
The voice of the Midwest. 570